Hello everyone and welcome back to Sasal Inc. YouTube channel. This is Hannah and today we are having our first CEO interview. Yay! So today we are interviewing Jackie Vergne, who runs the company Vergne Equity. I will start. We just have a few questions.
Sure.
Yes, we would like to hold the interview. Basically, first off, obviously we would like to ask you what type of business do you run? Which CEO of which company are you?
Sure. I handle all levels of funding, debt and equity, and some mergers and acquisitions. The name of my company is called Vergne Equity, which is my last name.
Okay. Could you please just tell us quickly what's the story behind your corporation? How did you come to build it? What's the idea behind it?
Okay, sure. Funding kind of came into my lap by default, I would say. I was a corporate executive for several years, an insurance expert, a global insurance expert. I worked for some of the largest insurance companies in the world. My niche was rich. I worked for Chubb Insurance, Fireman's Fund. I started off at State Farm. So the caliber of people were very high end. So 20% of the wealthiest people in the world are in their insurance. So when I left the industry through through the merger with Chubb, I decided to go off on my own. And so my PhD is in business. I maintained and still continue to keep all my property and casualty licensing. And what I have found is when I was taking on a lot of the consulting roles, I was doing a lot of insurtech and fintech. I went back to school for coding, machine learning, artificial intelligence, software. I just found it really fascinating to be on that tech side because with the changing economy and the landscape of everything moves so quickly. And if you don't stay up with the latest and greatest technology, you fall behind pretty quickly. But what I found is when I was doing a lot of the insurtech and fintech companies, everybody needed funding. So it was sort of something that fell into my lap. And the reason why I fell in love with it is I like equity a little bit more, but I could still do debt and work with some nice large family offices and things like that. But I just felt like it was, if I could make someone's dream come true, it was very gratifying for me to be able to help people, that start businesses from the ground up. Mm-hmm. It's very gratifying. And that's why I really enjoy doing it.
Thank you so much. What is the biggest challenge or what are the challenges that you had to overcome as a CEO of your company throughout the years?
I think there's lots of challenges. One is you have to really just take into account and consideration that you're never going to please everybody all the time. And you can't always get everything for everybody all the time. And I can't control, things beyond, whether an investor is interested or not. All I could do is always put my best foot forward and continue to work hard. I think when people see how hard you work, regardless of maybe sometimes the outcome isn't where it should be or where they want to be, or they didn't get their full funding for whatever reason, I think sometimes you just have to learn to accept that. But it does hurt if you can't completely please somebody, but you have to learn to put those emotions on the side. I think the other thing that I have found, and some of the harder things are too, is in the funding arena, definitely doing debt and equity, there's definitely, it's an area that you have to be very, very careful with because there's a lot of fraud. There's a lot of narcissistic behavior. There's a lot of people that think they're going to get rich quick overnight. So it's an area that you have to be extremely careful. Mm-hmm. So building trust with the client and customers is really key and important, and being transparent. I find that my best customers are really referrals and some networking groups, although I do use LinkedIn as well as a lead generator. But you really have to be careful with who you're working with and pre-screening individuals. That's a really key component as well.
So what is your overall vision? What goal would you like to achieve on the short term or on the longer term?
So I think we all have goals, but for me, it's just continue to build the business. I do really love what I do, and I think when you love what you do and you have a passion, you just want to get better. And I think that's key. you always want to get better at what you're doing. You never want to say that you know it all. There's always different ways and different options, and meeting some wonderful people in the world to become stronger. I think building great partnerships is also key to building your brand and making you stronger. And then as you continue to build, you move into, having your own funds, and, so you could do more for people. If you have your own startup funds and your own hedge funds and your private equity funds, you actually have the ability to do more for clients, but you have to do it for the right reasons as well, because it's still risk-taking. And I think as an entrepreneur alone, you are a bit of a risk-taker. So you still have to pre-screen people and make sure that they're the right clients when you do provide that type of funding.
Do you have a message for the subscribers watching the video right now? Do you have something to say, or an encouraging message, or a message of advertisement that you want to give for your company? You're free to talk about whatever you please.
Thank you. I mean, first of all, my one message is, I always tell everybody, never give up on your dream. I think everything that we go through in life, the good, the bad, the ugly, it's always temporary, but it's a learning, we continuously learn. And I think we have to just keep that, we have to stay positive regardless, because we're going to have our ups and downs in business. But I would love, for anybody, always love to help people whenever I can. So my company is VergneEquity.com, which is the name of my company, and always willing and happy to speak and continue to network and help others.
Thank you so much.
So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That's a positive message. So here you have it, our first CEO interview from this new YouTube series that we're holding. Once again, thank you so much to Jackie Vergne from Vergne Equity for having this interview with us today. And this was Sasal Inc. I am Hannah. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like this content, as well as to stay tuned for way more videos coming soon. Bye bye!